Hello, Gemini. Welcome to your full year of your astrological predictions for 2024. Gemini is between May 21st and June 20th. You are the twins. Your planet is Mercury. You are a mutable air sign. You have strong gifts in communication. You are chameleons. You're charming and you're witty. Okay, Gemini, so you are connected to the god of Hermes. A very powerful god. He has wings on his helmet and wings on his ankles. He is fast. He is a fast communicator. He is a messenger from the gods. So he would bring messages back and forth to the people of Earth from the heavens. And it also allows the people of Earth to communicate with the gods. So he's a messenger. He's connected to the mail. He's connected to text messages. He's connected to the internet. That's why when we talk about a Mercury retrograde, the whole world and everyone freaks out. It's when you'll notice if you're on your cell phone and maybe you're in a live chat and it starts to get staticky or it goes slow or it gets weird. It's usually during Mercury retrograde. Mercury is the first planet closest to the sun. It moves quick. It orbits the sun faster than any other planet. So we're going to break down the rod that you're holding in your hand and why it is associated with the medical field. Because technically the history of that is confusing. The story of Caduceus, that's the name of the rod that you're holding in your hand. Caduceus is a story of how the rod came about. Basically, Hermes flying in between heaven and earth, doing his job. He sees two serpents arguing in the garden. He throws his rod down. He breaks up the fight between the serpents, and they wrap around his rod, and he is able to balance good and evil. So, and the wings of heaven above. So if you think about it, he is mixed up with the other rod of Caduceus. That is a one rod with one snake going up the rod. Now, Caduceus, he is a medical healer. It is where we get the Hippocratic Oath from, and it comes from Apollo. Apollo was basically the teacher of medicine. Apollo taught Chiron, and Chiron taught Asclepius. Okay, so this is where this story comes from, and this is why it gets mixed up with the medical field. So Hermes is a god of messengers, and he represents basically the people, the merchants, what makes things run down here. So think about maybe why, sometimes you'll see it in a doctor's office where the snake is black and one snake is white. He's balancing the good and evil. And if you think about in the medical profession, you're balancing the fluids, the good fluids, the bad fluids, the bile, the ducts, things like that, trying to keep the body balanced, right? So Caduceus, his rod, he actually healed a snake, and the snake has always been affiliated with healing and ancient secret knowledge and, words of wisdom coming from the divine. And it's always been associated with healing. If you look at my channel, I have snakes as well. I have long loved snakes, and I used to have pet snakes as well. So this story has always intrigued me. So this is where it comes from, the inner knowledge of healing. Snakes have always represented healing. Even in biblical things, they talk good and bad about snakes. There's a long history with it. So I just wanted to let you know, on ambulances, it's why we have the star there there's a snake on that as well. If you ever look at the side of an ambulance, this is all connected to that little rod that you're holding, is basically the birth of why doctors use it, okay, and why we have the Hippocratic Oath and all of that. So that's just a little history about the rod in your hand. It's called Caduceus. Okay, so let's continue on with your astrology for 2024. So I'm going to have you get familiar with Saturn. Saturn is going to be your buddy for the year of 2024. You are going to be stuck with Saturn for the full year, and he's going to be in Pisces, which isn't a comfortable position for him, okay? First of all, Saturn is an earth sign. He rules restrictions. He rules the government. But he will reward you for hard work. Saturn appreciates hard work. So we're going to break down what this means for you for your entire year with having Saturn, being in the sign of Pisces on your chart. One, you're an air sign. And wherever Saturn is, it can really tell a lot about your astrology for the whole year. So remember, we just talked all about this medical stuff. The ancients would try to please Saturn when somebody came into the hospital and they were sick, okay? They always tried to appease Saturn because Saturn is cold and dry. So they always tried to make him happy. Now, your Saturn is sitting in a water sign, and that's not always best for him. It can mean that you might have a cold, or that something might be happening with your feet, or that you're on your feet a lot, working hard. Also, Saturn rules the skeleton, the teeth, the hair, and the skin, and basically your whole body. So that's why when astrologers want to find out about what's going on with you medically, we look at where Saturn is on your chart, and that can kind of tell us where you're going to be feeling on a medical level. So I'm going to show you a little diagram of the medical astrology diagram. So this will be in the whole year of 2024. Saturn doesn't move, and it sits in the sign of Pisces, which is connected to Neptune, connected to the 12th house, and these are the body parts that Pisces rules. Neptune rules the lymphatic system, the feet, any swelling, mood swings, depression, hospital stays, mental health, eyes, dreams, and your pineal gland. Now, with Saturn being in the house of Pisces, it can mean that you could have a parent this year, or possibly even the last few months, because Saturn has been in Pisces for a while now, that you could have a parent be hospitalized because Pisces rules hospital stays. And Saturn is one of the planets that we look at that represents a parent, a father, usually a father, or a father figure in your life may have a hospital stay, or you yourself could have a minor, need to take a trip to the hospital. Hopefully it's nothing major. It could be, it usually is something minor, but it's there. I need to tell you about it, and let's move on with your chart. Also, Gemini, I want to just remind you how beautiful Mercury is. All the photos that I see of Mercury, it is such a beautiful planet. It really is a magical planet, and I just want you to know that it's one of my favorite planets. And it's connected to a few crystals that we'll discuss, and we're also going to discuss a few crystals that will help appease Saturn. Since Saturn is going to be hanging out with you for the entire year, Saturday rules Saturn, and I'm not an expert in Vedic astrology, but in Vedic astrology, they truly believe that wearing certain colors on certain days, if you have a planet that's literally sticking with you for a full year, and if, because remember, Saturn is a planet of restriction. It can be kind of a wet blanket and ruin some of your plans sometimes. It can be a planet of setbacks, and it might, that you have a plan set in motion moving forward, but sometimes Saturn can delay those plans. They still will happen. It's just that sometimes there's always like a little befuddle or a hang up or a delay. And that's what Saturn can sometimes happen. So in Vedic astrology, there's a few things that they like to do to keep Saturn happy. There's a few crystals. One is onyx. Another one is garnet. And the other one is smoky quartz. So, sorry, I had to think of it. So, onyx is a crystal that I wear all the time. I never leave home without it. You guys know that I am a practicing Wicca. I do not leave my home without onyx. Onyx can protect you from psychic attacks, spiritual attacks, any type of hexes or things like that. And it is a very powerful stone. The color black is a protective color. Priests wear black. Witches wear black. We wear black because it protects us from spiritual attacks. That's one of the reasons why you'll see a witch and always wearing black. It is a protective color. It is the color of Saturn as well. Saturn loves the color black. He also loves the color blue. And sometimes he likes the color green. You can Google Vedic astrology and Google, how to please Saturn, and they give little tips and advice. Another thing that Saturn appreciates is for you to make donations of giving to charity and giving to the needy on Saturday. So that's another thing that these planets are big on, is giving to others and giving to charity. It is basically part of ancient mythology, as the ancient astrology as well, is that, they wanted you to give to the needy. And that could be giving food donations or cash donations on a Saturday as well. I know this is a lot of information regarding Saturn and Pisces, and I know we're spending a lot of time on it, but I just wanted to, because this is the whole full year of 2024, and this position stays with you it goes into 2025 as well. So you really got to get comfortable with Saturn, and that's why I'm kind of really going all out on this, okay? So Capricorn are workaholics. They're our power horse in the zodiac. So is Sagittarius. Think about Sagittarius sign. They have the legs. They're the horse. They're centaurs. They're half man, half horse. They work hard too. Capricorn is another one. Saturn is another one that works his ass off, okay? And pays off in the end. I mean, he's a money-making magnet. He makes money. Pisces is a rich planet too. If you ever look at Neptune, there's a lot of diamonds on Neptune. I'm just saying, these are rich planets. So Saturn is ready to reward you for the hard work that you're doing. Because you're in Pisces, it can mean that this is really you working on your spirituality. If you are learning something new about spirituality, Saturn is going to reward that tenfold. That's what he does. If you are willing to put in the hard work, Saturn is willing to reward you in the end for the hard work that you're doing. So Capricorn, it rules the house of business, networking, and working hard. And, all things business matters. Capricorn is all business. And he's matter of fact. He's strict. He's a hard worker. And Pisces is all spiritual. So think about, for the whole year of 2024 going into 2025, you're doing an introspection on your spirituality. And Saturn is all business about it. You might gain more confidence in your spirituality, because Saturn is going to be there to say, maybe this isn't all in your head. Maybe that dream that you had a meaning to it. Or, whatever you're investing into, if you're working overtime and you're working hard and you're networking with your friends at work, Capricorn is going to reward that. Saturn is Capricorn. They're going to reward you. They're going to pay it back to you tenfold. So I just needed to really spend a lot of time talking to you about Saturn and getting you to understand your planet. So if you get confused and you ever need to go back about what's going on with Saturn, you're going to want to look at the 12th house and read the description of the 12th house, and then read the description of the 10th house. And that can give you really the two houses that are really going to be controlling a lot of your zodiac for the whole entire year and going into 2025 as well. Okay, let's continue on now with the rest of your astrology. Okay, so we're going to move on to April. April the 1st, 2024, you have a Mercury retrograde. April 25th to 2024, it goes direct, meaning it's going to start to come out. So basically what happens with a retrograde, it is kind of like an optical illusion. So the only way I can describe it is, first of all, the planets become closer to us when they're in retrograde. So just like, how the sun has solar flares and every once in a while, NASA will say, oh, there's a big solar flare and warn us, because it can make our technologies go out. It can mess with our internet, and anything that's wireless are wired. It can really mess with us. Well, Mercury retrograde is kind of like the same thing. I'm not exactly sure what it is that your planet does. Maybe it's because your planet moves so fast. And when Earth and Mercury are that close to each other, think of it like if you're in a race, and as you're coming up to something and you're passing it, there's that moment where it looks like you guys are going the same speed. And it's kind of like an optical illusion, where as you pass this, if you're in a race with Mercury and Earth, and you're in the car of Earth, as you pass Mercury, it looks like Mercury's not really moving. It looks like it's gone stationary, or that it's moving backwards. It gives this optical illusion, but there's a lot of energy passing between Earth and Mercury. There's a lot of power generated there because the planet becomes closer to us. So that's what it is in the night sky. And your planet, that's your planet. So Mercury affects all of us, but you especially, because it's your planet, okay? You'll be more tired around this time. So try to get to bed a little bit more early. Try to, I'm going to give you a whole schedule of all of your retrogrades. Try to, make a mental note of it a couple of days before a retrograde starts so you can get to bed early. Try to cut off distractions and things like that, and work on meditating, self-care, and things like that. It does bring people back from your past. You'll notice a pattern with Mercury retrograde. You get a blast from your past. You might get something blown up on your Facebook, or just somebody reaches out with a weird text, someone that you haven't talked to in months, maybe years, And that's just the beauty of our Geminis. You guys are our social butterflies. You have many different friend groups, many different Facebook groups, many things that people know you from. They could know you from work. They could know you from a sports thing. They could know you from, you have many different types of friends and different circles, basically. And you're usually very well liked and very well respected. It is just something to consider, that when retrograde comes around, you will be more tired, and to just think twice before you speak, think twice before you text. And we're going to go ahead and talk about this rare astrological event that is going to be happening for you on April 20th. But you will be feeling the effects of this rare event happening in your for everyone. It's going to be affecting everybody. It's going to take place in Taurus, in the sign of Taurus, and it's a Uranus and Jupiter conjunction, which is extremely rare. I think the last time Uranus and Jupiter was at the same degree, matching the same degree, so it's almost like they're kissing. And that's two huge, powerful... Jupiter's huge, okay? And they're powerful planets. And meeting at the same degree, I think it hasn't happened since 2011. But meeting in Taurus is going to be the first time in, don't quote me, I think it's like 80 years, maybe 88 years, something along those lines. I'll have to look it up. But you can look it up. Basically, it's been over 80 years since anything like this has happened with Jupiter, Uranus in Taurus, okay? So let's go ahead and break that down now. So April 20th, this is when this rare event happens. It's happening in the sign of Taurus. What does Taurus represent? Taurus is ruled by Venus, all things beautiful. It rules beautiful things. It's also a planet of how we value things, how we make money, how we cherish the things that we love the most. Taurus works very hard. It's also agricultural, farming, nature. It's an earth sign. And it rules how we cherish the things, the old things that we love, okay? And how we take care of those things. It's also, Venus is the planet of give and take, push and pull, all right? That balance that we need to find, and how we value the people in our life and value the things that we love the most. And that can be people, or that can be our property. It does rule property. So around this time, Uranus is the planet of shocking events. It's the planet of unexpected things, electricity, technology, and you are ruled by technology as well. So it could be that maybe you have a piece of property that might need a repair, something along those lines. Maybe it's a car repair, something electrical. Maybe it's your laptop or your computer. Jupiter is there, and he's there to make it bigger. Whatever it is, he's going to expand it. So when you think about all the things that I just told you about Taurus being involved in food, farming, how we cherish and value things, how we give and take, push and pull, and basically just, it's our love planet as well. It's how we love. So with that happening, and it being in Uranus with Jupiter there, the gas giant, to expand it and make it bigger, it's basically the sky god of Uranus is hanging out with Zeus, and they're at the same degree. So it's like they're kissing. It's going to be a powerful event. That's a lot of energy between those two big planets. And just remember, whatever it's going to be big. We might hear about aliens again, because remember, Uranus is the planet of aliens, are all things in the sky. He is the sky god. Now, what could be in the sky? Airplanes, bullets, bombs. I'm not saying that this is going to happen. I'm just saying that's what this planet represents. So I want to tell you the good, the bad, the neutral, all of it. All right. So usually it's a very good thing. It can be that you have an advancement at work where, people are recognizing you. You might be able to network with your friends finally at work and, I don't know, become popular, or somebody recognizes you for certain talents. So it is, Uranus is humanitarian efforts. It's innovation and discovery of medical breakthroughs and things like that. So whatever this is going to be for the world and for you personally, it could be a big event happening. I'm praying that it's a cure for cancer, but, it might be wishful thinking. But whatever it is, it's going to be magical. Okay, let's continue on with the rest of your chart. And now we are entering Gemini season. It's your birthday season, Gemini. Happy birthday to you. I hope you enjoy your day. It's when the sun returns into your sign, and it's when all the attention shines on you, meaning that the sun shines its light upon you around this time of your birthday season. Okay, let's continue on with the rest of your chart. As you continue on through the rest of the year, May 23rd, Venus enters Gemini. Venus is the planet of how we love our significant other or our partner, how we cherish them. And remember, Gemini is very verbal. So if you want to spice things up in the bedroom, Geminis love to talk, and they're known for talking dirty. So I'm just going to put that out there. Now, besides the love part, on another part of it, it can be that this is when things go well for you at your job, or when you can make investments or communicate about investments, talking about your money and how to make your money work for you and grow. It may also be a time that you need to talk about home repairs. So overall, Venus entering Gemini on May 23rd is a very sensual time for you, a time to talk to your partner and have alone time. Venus loves to snuggle in, watch a good movie. Venus also loves going out to dinner and having good drinks and spending time with the people that they cherish the most. They are foodies. They love, it's okay to go out to dinner and have someone else cook for you. That's totally fine. So enjoy your time with Venus. It's a very sensual time. And Venus loves kisses on the neck, don't forget. Okay, so your planet goes home on June 3rd. This is what we call your planet goes home to his own office. Because as these planets go around each house of the zodiac, they are in separate houses. And if they're in a house that it doesn't match their same element, meaning if it's a water sign, well, Mercury isn't very happy in a water sign. Mercury does better in air or earth signs because you share this planet with Virgos, okay? So fire signs and water signs, it's considered out of office, meaning that it's not at its desk. It doesn't know where stuff is. It doesn't know its elements. It's out of office. So Mercury returns home to his own office with you. And this is a time for innovation. This is a time for, again, strong networking. This is when you're going to be talking to a lot of people on the internet, really communicating, getting work done, and able to put your best face forward. Our Geminis have really good manners out of the whole zodiac sign. You're usually very polite, and this is when your people skills are really put to the test. And, just remember that Mercury and Gemini can be a bit chatty, so watch your words, watch the gossip, make sure what you're saying is mature, and before you speak, always think, and, make sure you double check it before you hit that send button. All right. But overall, it's a very positive position of strong communication where people see you shine. It's when you are blessed the most from your planet. Now, you share this planet with Virgo. You should get along pretty well with Virgos because they get gifts from Mercury as well. The gifts that they get is input and output. If you look at your symbol of Mercury, you see how it has the wings on top of it. Hermes is flying. Think of those little dots up there as input, output. Virgos use it to absorb the information and technology like a sponge, where Geminis absorb it and then send it out. So that's where your gifts come in. You're really good at Yelp, helping people with their resumes. You're really good at Yelp reviews, giving people good feedback. People come to you for advice. People come to you for professional advice. So don't be surprised if, all of these gifts of yours, people will recognize and you will shine your light because you will be getting the blessings from your planet around this time. Okay, let's continue on with the rest of your chart. This takes us to June 6th. So we're in the middle of the year now. So this is a time of the new moon. It's going to be at 12:37 at the 16th degree. The 16th degree rules Cancer. So again, you're an air sign. You're at a degree that's ruling Cancer, so it's going to be an emotional time for you. Usually a new moon is a system reboot for our Geminis, a refresh, a restart. But just remember, there might be some emotional words that are going to be exchanged. So we ask you to, again, think of the safety of others. Try not to fall for any lies or deceit around this time, because the moon can kind of have some secrets that might be exposed, or that, there might just be an emotional time for you. And whatever you do, try not to be too cold-hearted or allow your emotions to get the best of you. And then people might see this kind of cold side that you have at times when you do get a little bogged down. Just remember that around the new moons, the full moons, and eclipses, that you might end up having some pain in any of these areas, because these are the areas that you rule. The shoulders, the arms, the hands, the respiratory system. So you could have a flare-up of allergies around this system. Bronchial tubes, your lungs, your nervous connections, your nervous tissue, your sensor and motor skills, and your blood capillaries. That's everything that Gemini rules. So we also recommend during a new moon, eclipse, or a full moon not to have any surgeries. Now, of course, if it's an emergency, you don't have a choice. If it's an emergency, have the surgery. But what we recommend that is if you can choose a date where they offer you a date where you'd like to have surgery and you have time to recover, try not to do it and schedule it on any times that it's on a new moon, eclipse, or a full moon, because the moons mess with the fluids in your body. Okay? All right, let's continue on with the rest of your chart. So we have Mercury retrograde August 5th to the 28th. So August is going to be a tough month for you because it's a pretty long retrograde. It's almost the whole month of August. Then you have November 25th to December 15th is another Mercury retrograde. So you might, again, hear from people from the past. Remember to rest. This is when your retrogrades really make you tired. You feel run down. You're probably going to get weird communication from people that you haven't heard from a long time. So just remember that your planet is really affected. Affects your sign the most out of all of the signs. It gives you brain fog. Sometimes your words might not be the words that you meant to say. So just double check before you send that text email, and double check before you speak, okay? Breathe deep before you speak, Gemini. All right, let's keep going. We're coming to a close at the end of the year, so we're at December 15th, 2024. Now, this is some intense energy for you, Gemini. Your retrograde ends on December 15th, and then you have a full moon in your sign, okay? This is intense energy. The 23rd degree for a full moon at 9:01. The 23rd degree means to cut cords, to cut ties. It is ruled by Aquarius, the 23rd degree. So that can mean that you could get some exciting news. I mean, it could be an announcement of a baby. It could be an announcement of a marriage. It could be an announcement of a divorce. It could be exciting new advancements at work, or it could be something happening at work, okay? So just keep in mind the degree of full moon in Gemini it means to cut. So whatever that may be. It's ruled by Aquarius, which is, exciting, unexpected news coming in, okay? Could be coming in through technology, like a text message, or through the internet, or through your Facebook, something like that, or networking through work, communication. So this new moon, just remember that, the full moon to close out your year is going to be an emotional one. One, because your Mercury retrograde is coming to an end, and then you're hit with a full moon all on the same day in your sign. So just be aware, and you got the 23rd degree hanging out with that moon. So just be aware that your emotions may run high. You might have been put through the ringer, might have been pushed around, or just not feeling valued. So just remember to watch your words. You are an intelligent person, and I know emotions is hard for you sometimes when it might be feeling like going through this retrograde that, you kind of retreated and then you have the full moon. So this is a lot of energy, a lot of emotions. So good luck through this, Gemini. Just remember that these planets go through this, and in the end, it's all going to work itself out. You have the holidays to look forward to where you're going to spend time with your family, hopefully family, friends, and loved ones. And overall, for the full year, you have a lot of exciting things happening with your sign, a lot of networking, a lot of communication happening in your favor. You got that Uranus and Jupiter pushing you through. Whatever's going to happen, it's going to be big and bright, and hopefully it all works out for you in your favor. I hope this was informative for you. Again, I tried to tell you the great things about astrology, the neutral things, and, all the ugly, the good, bad, and the ugly, because it's a mixture of all. It's not always rainbow and butterflies, but there's a lot of beauty in your chart, and I really hope that this helped you. Pay attention to your retrogrades and remember how this affects you the most out of all of the signs in the zodiac. Blessings to you, Gemini. I hope you have a great year. Blessed be.